From time to time, I get asked to review new products that have recently been released, which is quite exciting. Then, just occasionally, I get asked to review them before they're released, and before anyone else gets to see them, and that really is exciting. Today's review is the first unveiling of the brand new gun from BSA. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air, and yes, today is the launch of the all-new CLX from BSA, and there's a lot to get through with this one. So, where should I start? Well, I suppose by letting you know what the name CLX means. You see, BSA is 160 years old this year, and even though, like many companies, let alone ones that have spanned across centuries, has seen a few changes in its lifetime, it is still, however, in the heart of England and still produces its core products. So, what better way to celebrate 160 years than naming your latest airgun? Just that, CLX, which the scholars out there will instantly recognise as Roman numerals for 160. Well, I suppose it's 150-10, but the Romans had a different way of counting. At this point, don't go away with any ideas that this is the only way BSA are going to recognise this huge milestone, because I am reliably informed they will not be sitting back on their laurels, but will be releasing even more new guns during 2021. Let's look closer then at this all-new CLX. Firstly, I love the way they pretty much changed everything, but kept it familiar in a similar way that Porsche would release a new 911, but always keep that familiar, almost branded shape, so there is no mistaking its heritage. Nice touch. But look closer under that purposefully familiar outside and you realise that it shares only 3 main parts from any of its predecessors: the bolt, the trigger guard, and thank goodness that cold hammer forged barrel that has superb history of accuracy about it. Stats then. I'll try not to miss anything out here. The overall length is 82 centimetres, the barrel length approximately 31.5 centimetres, and the weight unscoped is around 2.6 kilograms. Calibers, but there's 177 and 22. The magazine capacity on this is 12 rounds, and an official shot count of 60 in 177 and 72 in .22, but we'll take a look at that later. Let's do the walk around, shall we? The first thing you notice is the short length as per the Ultra style. This becomes almost a hybrid because it is not a bullpup and it's not a full-length rifle either. But to me, it's a perfect balance for someone who isn't necessarily into the bullpups but wants a smaller, more compact gun. This fits that niche perfectly, with all the feel of a full rifle, but with a manageable length in smaller spaces. And that weight, such as it is at 2.6 kilograms, fits nicely back into the body. You know, using this in tight conditions is going to be a dream. Looking at that stock, this is beech and is made, or maybe I should say crafted, by Manelli. It is ambidextrous and has the finish we've come to expect from the Italian stockmaker. The grip is stippled along with the forestock, and it is really very grippy, and even with gloves on. They have, as I've already said, kept close to that Ultra shape and feel about it to make it different but without losing the familiar BSA hallmark shape. They fitted studs on the front and rear as they do on the R10s, and it's really useful, and I don't see why all manufacturers don't fit them as standard. It's finished off with a rubberized butt pad, but of course there's no recoil, it simply adds a level of comfort in use. One area that has changed greatly is the safety. Now BSA called this the on-shot rotary safety catch. It is carefully moulded and shaped into the stock, allowing you to operate the safety with your thumb. And it's easy to operate and has a nice defined action to it, with the red dot visible instantly when you're in fire. Because this is quite a deep cutaway, I initially thought this would have taken away any possible thumbs up shooting position, but it doesn't. And it does indeed provide an additional thumb rest position that does become quite comfortable. Now at this point I've mentioned the beech finish, but there will be more because there will be a walnut finish available as well. But again, more about that later. Well, that's the woodwork pretty much taken care of. Let's move on to the metalwork, because this is where the new design becomes obvious. This has a one-piece monoblock chassis. This means several important things. It reduces components, which means it also reduces complexity, giving increased reliability and efficiency. It is made of higher grade materials and even has a stainless steel pellet probe in there somewhere. Sitting on top of this is a dovetail rail to fit a scope of your choice. This one currently has quite a low magnification scope of a 3:9. It's a BSA fitted item, and I'll be testing my skills out on it and the target work a little later. The next thing to look at is the magazine. Now I've always praised the BSA magazine for being easy to load and very reliable and simple. Then they produced this one and it takes it up a notch. It looks totally different. There are now 12-shot magazines in both 177 and 22 calibers that this CLX is available in, rather than the old 10-shot. It operates and loads exactly the same as the old one, but with a few improvements. The first one has to be that beautiful finish to it and the opening up of the surround to show off that sexy colour finish. Red for 22 and blue for 177, which again continues the usual BSA colour scheme and theme. It has the numbers on the magazine, but they are immediately visible from your shooting position, and it counts down to show you how many shots are left, eliminating the guesswork and making it easier to see than the old magazine, which was on the top. This countdown, of course, makes it so easy to know exactly what you've got left. Now, loading this is, again, very simple, and it's a simple drop-in and twist system. In with your pellet, turn, next one, drop in, and so on, until you've got all 12 in the magazine. And I must say, all the time I spent with this gun, it was faultless. To load it into the gun, simply pull back on the bolt and slide it into place. It is magnetic and it will pull itself in at the last moment. Push the bolt forward and you're away. Below this is the two-stage trigger, which is three-way adjustable to allow you to get that comfortable position that you want. It is length, lateral and radially adjustable and has a really nice grooved curve to it, which reminds me of my R10s, which is fine by me. The 110cc front air cylinder is a bigger unit, which BSA claim to have the ability to increase the shot count by up to 50%. The claimed shot count is actually 60 shots or 5 magazines in 177 and 72 shots or 6 magazines in 22. Now, I shot this quite a lot from different fill pressures during my time with the CLX, and this 22 caliber, I found that 70 shots is very realistic and could possibly be pushed out to around 80 shots almost. But one interesting point here is it's like a Duracell battery. It's on target, on target, on target and done. you're hitting low. So you'll easily get the 6 magazines worth that BSA state, but you're not likely to get a full 7th. That said, you'd probably have difficulty carrying 72 rabbits back if you were out using it for pest control anyway. The gauge on the front of the cylinder is big and clear, very clear. It is a wicker item and has a much bigger viewing angle, which makes it safer to use. It shows the 232 bar max fill pressure by a green section on the gauge. Behind this gauge is the twist dust cover for the filler port, which is also a little radical with its offset angle. The supplied probe fits nicely and doesn't need to be inserted all the way, helping to prevent any possible scratching of the nice finish. I also like the way the brass end has been incorporated to give this thing a gold ring finish. The last thing is the barrel. Yes, it's one of BSA's cold hammer forge barrels. And if anyone wants to know anything about them, I would simply use one word: accurate. This one is a short length to keep the gun nice and short, and comes supplied with a new designed muzzle brake, which has been designed with airflow in mind to help add stability to the pellet as it leaves the barrel. Does it work? Well, yes, it does. But naturally, it's loud, and whilst fine on the range, you're likely to need to use the 1/2" UNF thread that lays beneath it on the end of the barrel to possibly fit a silencer of your choice, or naturally, a BSA one. If you're going to use it for pest control, or if you're close to your neighbours, then you're definitely going to need something. How sexy, though, could you make it look? BSA classed this as self-regulated, so I was interested at this point around shot spread and power output. I tested this with 3 different weights of pellets, the usual 15.89 grains, and then I went down to 13.43 grains, and then up to 18.13 grains to find out if it made much difference. Firstly, the FPS spread was pretty consistent with any of the weights at around 9 feet per second, but at this point I should point out that these were not weighed or sorted pellets in any way. They were simply straight out of the tin. So I'm quite happy with a result like that. And as I said earlier, you only get any real difference or drop on power when you're right down on the pressure. Using the 15.89 grains, I saw 11.3 foot-pounds. Using the lighter 13.43 grains, I saw 11.2 foot-pounds. And using the heavier 18.13 grains, it managed 11.5 foot-pounds. Now that tells me it is pretty consistent right across the weight range, where often a different weight pellet can make a huge difference to the power output of a gun. So the CLX is consistent. Let's put this to the all-important target test, shall we? Now, sticking to the usual 40 metres using 15.89 grains for consistency, I was expecting good things here. I did stick with the 3-9 BSA scope, a little concerned because I usually prefer some higher magnification when target shooting, and I was concerned I wouldn't be able to do this little beauty enough justice. But here goes. Now, I was pleased with that. Indeed, I was a little shocked with such a low magnification scope and my eyesight. Proof that this is accurate. And just to take it to a more realistic real-world situation, I put out the usual beer bottle tops and even pennies to see if it could be consistent enough in a pest control situation. Yep, just as I thought. A nice looking gun and very capable too. The last thing, I suppose, is the price. Well, this should be available by the end of March 2021 and is going to have a recommended retail price of £609 UK, which isn't a huge amount of money for the quality and accuracy that you would be getting. And the good news is it's small and compact enough to sneak into the house without the good lady knowing. There is a twist to this too, and you may want to get yourself near a phone as soon as possible, because BSA, to celebrate the launch of this, are going to be doing a limited edition individually numbered run of 200 of these in a walnut finish, complete with a BSA 3-9x50 WR scope, silencer and a hard case for £799. Now, normally limited edition runs cost a heck of a lot more than that, and I can see they will be going fast. I can hear the phone ringing at Vector Air already with people wanting to put pre-orders in. That's me in trouble again. I'm hoping we've covered off everything on this launch cum review. And before anyone asks, no, I'm not sponsored or paid to do this. It has been an absolute pleasure to use it and review it and support a British company celebrating 160 years. Blimey, that's nearly as old as I am. I have really enjoyed it, and I would like to say thank you to the guys at BSA for trusting me and letting me get hold of, well, number one of their CLX. Thanks as always to Vector Air for helping to make this whole thing happen, who will no doubt now be suffering as the phone rings itself off the wall. I really want to get my hands on a 177 caliber and pop a bigger scope on this to push it out further. But I feel maybe a future review and maybe a challenge program coming. If you've enjoyed it, please use your thumbs up, subscribe, and of course hit the old alarm bell. I will be trying to get my hands on one of those limited edition guns as soon as they become available as well. And I want to do that comparison review, maybe with a lower and higher price sibling at some point in the future. Well, that's it for now. Sorry for making you wait until 1 o'clock, and normal timing and service will be resumed next Friday. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and shoot safe. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.